Evening viewer, welcome to our Glory Globe TV. Here is the breaking news from China. Yes, Pang, being a retailer turned citizen journalist who documented the early outbreak of COVID-19 in Wuhan, has been released after more than 3 years detention in China, a family members told CNN. Pang disappeared after sharing videos showing the on-the-ground situation in the central Chinese city, the epicenter of the original outbreak, as authorities sought to suppress information about the true extent of the unfolding global emergency. He was released on Sunday and was in Wuhan, according to a family member who declined to be named due to concern about repercussions. Pang's health had suffered while in detention, where he had trouble eating and sleeping and he had lost weight, the person said. His videos posted to social media in early 2020 let bare the realities of the virus' deadly spread, contradicting the official narrative presented on China's tightly controlled state media. Authorities locked down the city of Wuhan on January 23rd of the year, but there had been a period of roughly 3 weeks between when health officials announced a mysterious illness and confirmed it was spreading between people. In one video, Pang, a one resident who sold clothing, showed hospital corridors crowded with patients and their desperate relatives. During one segment, Pang counts body bags piled in a van, images that garnered significant attention in China, where the public was desperate to understand what was happening in the epicenter city. In his final videos, Pang recorded people coming to his door to ask questions and said his home was surrounded by plainclothes policemen. He appeared emotional in one recording, referencing the death from the virus of COVID. Whistleblower Dr. Li Weiliang, who was reprimanded by police for sharing information about early patient, and the silencing of fellow citizen journalist Chen Kwesi, saying the reason he had not been taken away was due to his viewers' attention. Let's revolt. Bring the power back to the people, Pang can be heard saying in a February 9 video, a highly rare public expression of such sentiment in China. Then he disappeared. The relatives of Pang told CNN he had been charged with picking quarrels and provoking troubles and was sentenced to 3 years. The charges commonly used to silence activists and government critics. CNN was not able to independently confirm the details of Pang's case, including whether he was formally charged or the circumstances of his release. The Wuhan Public Security Bureau did not answer repeated phone calls from CNN. The Ministry of Justice in Beijing did not immediately respond to faxed requests for comment. China's justice system is notoriously opaque, especially when it comes to those detained for political or social activism. Rights groups had repeatedly called for Pang's release and information about his case, and of others who were also detained after sharing information about one outbreak. Instead of being celebrated for his courageous efforts to expose what happened in Wuhan hospitals in those early days of the pandemic, Chinese government authorities simply made him disappear in an effort to silence those trying to share critical information. Eleni Pearson, Asia Director of Human Rights Watch, said in a statement to CNN, "The opacity of his trial and secret detention are hallmarks of how the Chinese government deals with government critics with no due processes," she said, pointing to reports that Pang had been charged after his detention. Pang was among a handful of citizen journalists who were caught up China's crackdown on truth-telling in the early phase of the outbreak. Others include Chen, the lawyer and citizen journalist who disappeared in early February and re-emerged in September 2021 when he briefly appeared in a friend's YouTube video, and Zhang Zhan, a former lawyer. Both had reported on Chinese initial COVID outbreak in Wuhan in early 2020. Rights groups have repeatedly voiced concern about the health and treatment of Zhang, who was detained in May 2020 and sentenced to 4 years in prison for picking quarrels and provoking troubles. She has been on multiple hunger strikes since being detained. Behind the report, Globe TV, Delhi, India.